Oh, here's Jay.
Well, I'd rather just sit and listen to the music for the hour. And what's that you say? You would too? Well, we'll do our best anyway. So, good afternoon. This is Jay Kaplan. This is the Educated Retirement Radio here on KMET, the Mighty Met, where we contemplate retirement and how best to prepare see, I can't even say it, at retirement, and how to best stay happily retired. So today we will speak with Randy Clarito, or Randolph, excuse me, we're calling him today. He is a repeat offender as far as this show is concerned. And his cohort, Belinda Calderon Nurnberg, who he works with and is actually the chief executive officer, I believe, of 1Heart. Let me just throw in a placement ad. You know how they do in the movies, right? A placement ad. There you go. And so this week we are going to finish our little discussion on Musso and Frank, which we didn't get a chance really to do last week. And remember, we talked about how Steve McQueen had gotten thrown out of there. And, well, we'll continue a little bit with more details. And we'll also talk about how animals OD on vodka. Why, you ask? Today is National Vodka Day. It's also National Tequila Day, National Gin Day. No, it's National Vodka Day. And why don't I have a bottle of vodka to show you? Because you don't need any direction as far as that's concerned. It's National Taco Day, and I'd show that to you, but I ate them all. It's not even Tuesday, and it's National Taco Day. I should think every day would be National Taco Day. And very close to my heart, National Cinnamon Roll Day. So if you didn't start off with a cinnamon roll today, shame on you. But, well, I didn't either. But you know what? There's still time. Lots of cinnamon rolls are floating out there. You know I'm not retired yet, so that's why we have today's guests and every other guests, so they can help us discuss tools about retirement and all that other good stuff. So if you didn't catch that first phone number for on the air, and I'm sure that our guests would be happy if you called in with questions about healthcare and in-home care. But you can talk to me about anything at 866-955-2233. That's my off-air number. Call it right now, and I won't answer, but I will get back to you. So that's to talk about just about anything. Call me, email me, bestloantoday@gmail.com, bestloantoday@gmail.com, or www.drheckham, or for those of us that are more formal, www.theeducatedretirementradio.com. Heckham, as you may already, if you've watched or listened to this show, stands for Home Equity Conversion Mortgage. Although I don't think of it as a mortgage as much as it's a program. But anyway, call me, talk to me, and I will always respect your information. That is, I'm not going to give it out to everybody. I'm not going to bug you. Most of all, I'm not going to bug you. I belong to the non-bugging, whatever that company is, the Non-Bugging Society of America. So my day job is at the Loan Source. My NMLS phone, no, it's not my phone number. NMLS number is 384465. Department of Real Estate number, which I do loans under that number, but I do not do real estate. The last real estate transaction, I think, was 1978 or something. But anyway, that number is 792-630. Need your questions, need your calls, need your input. And if you've watched or listened to the show before, I try not to make a infomercial out of this, although I think our infomercials can be good. I'm just waking up in the middle of the night too often to do, whatever I need to do, and there's this guy yelling and screaming about coins. Getting tired of that. So we can easily talk about music, movies, electric trains, UFOs, Bigfoot. Let me put in a plug for Mysterious Universe out of Australia. Best of all the podcasts, most entertaining. It's educational, and it can make fun of things all at the same time. So we do believe in challenging the status quo. You, your family, whatever, you need to be active, not reactive. And we do the show, and we try to expand friends and our network. Now, it's time, since I have my doctor's thing on, I need to check you over. Let me see. Breathe deeply. That's right. That's good. That's good. Okay. You're doing all right. All you need is a small prescription about reverse mortgages and how important they are and could be to you. So I'll just say real quick, and I'll put the pen down, that do you realize that when you make a payment on a reverse home loan, you can actually get that money back when you need it? We need to talk about that, of course. That's not a flat black and white, and not everybody has the same type of loan. So let me tell you one thing I really don't like on a lot of these advertisements you get about reverse mortgages. I really don't like it when people tell you you are doing away with your house payment. You no longer have a house payment. Well, of course, you're still responsible for taxes and insurance. But as far as not having a house payment, that's not true. What you've just gotten rid of, you didn't get rid of the payment. You didn't get rid of the obligation. What you got rid of was the obligation to sit down and write a check every month, because now you don't have to. You can write it or you don't have to write it. So I feel blessed today because today is Blessing of the Animals. I'm not wearing a leash. I can, it's okay to let me off the leash, but you can take me to any of these festivals that you want. It is the feast of Saint Francis, patron saint of animals and the environment. So celebrations are just about everywhere where you can find celebrations. And, located in and around churches, that kind of thing, most of all. So I know this first little thing is a quick one, so I will give it a break and give you back to Sean and our advertisers, and I will be back here in a moment. So visit me. Welcome back to the Educated Retirement Radio here on your home planet. 1490 KMET AM radio, the Mighty Met. Make sure you visit at www.drheckham.com. I was talking about the coin collecting thing at night. You know what else is starting to bug me is all those advertisements for Medicare supplements and Medicare add-ons and all that stuff. This time of the year, that's all they have. So, but if you are just turning 65, look into it a lot. I would definitely recommend finding somebody to talk to. We've had a few people call me. I can set you up with somebody in your neighborhood. And you need to get something that's, add something to Medicare, because it doesn't always cost any extra. It's just that instead of the money going to the government, who in turn pays physicians and other people, it goes to a private company that then can do more for you, because that's the way it's set up. So call me, 866-955-2233, drheckham.com. And remember, the YouTube channel is there also. So you can always scroll a little bit down on the front page of drheckham.com, and you can watch this show right now live. You can also find them in the past, as you can find everyone else who has a show here on KMET. And you can just scroll down another quarter inch or so and find the YouTube channel. And then I've got the entire shows there, and I have little snippets, like, the first half with me yapping, and I have the second half separately, usually, where you get information, and then sometimes little bitty things that just seem to be funny. So as we said before, what do I have in my coffee cup? 1Heart coffee cup. It is National Vodka Day. So here's the real reason you are listening. This makes it all worthwhile. I know it's expensive to listen to this show and watch it, but here's your payback. Excuse me. Go buy the cheapest vodka you can find. Buy cheap vodka and put it through a clean water filter. And then it will taste like top shelf, expensive vodka. So that's even better than I'm looking at my Henry the 13th bottle that's filled with much cheaper stuff on the shelf. But it's a different thing here. Did you know the most expensive vodka is, and this is real, it's called Billionaire Vodka. And I've been saving up for it. I think I got a ways to go. $3.7 million. And it doesn't say for that whether that's one bottle or a year's worth. Anyway, 3.7, and it comes with a concierge who will serve it to you for one full year. And of course, that concierge will be wearing gloves with that specific emblem on it. So aren't you something? Just a short aside. Dan Aykroyd, he's got that Crystal Skull vodka, which is kind of pretty neat bottle anyway. It came out the same time as Spielberg's Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, and that was not on purpose. You'd think it might have been. Anyway, I don't know whether there was an argument between or whatever, but at least everything was settled in advance by Aykroyd supplying the premiere of the movie with bottles of that vodka. So everybody made happy and nice, and they're still drunk. Of famous people's birthdays, it is Buster Keaton's 1895 to 1966. He was called the Great Stone Face. I am just called the Great Big Face. Certain movies that you might or might not recall. Since this is like video disc time on this show, there's The General. Now, I saw The General with my friend Ray not too long ago at the Hammer in Westwood, where it was playing, and I understand that Alien is coming back to movie theaters next week, and that's another one I'd like to see. But it's got not much to do with Buster Keaton at this time. Orson Welles, who used to hang out a lot at Musso and Frank's, said the best movie ever made was The General. So he also did another famous one, The Cameraman, and then his towering achievement, Beach Blanket Bingo, in 1965. So, and this is pretty interesting, I thought, for somebody his father, Buster Keaton's father, had a traveling show with Houdini called the Keaton-Houdini Medicine Show, where they performed on stage and sold medicine at the same time. Now, if their medicine could turn them into Houdinis and Keatons, I guess you could sign me up. But I got the get up, but I don't have the prescription pad for that one. So, Anne Rice was also, I guess I could put on my Mardi Gras beads here. Anne Rice was also born on this day in 1941, author, of course, of Gothic fiction, and what may be most Gothic fiction-y about it is she's even older than I am. So, Interview with a Vampire, did you read that, Sean?
No, I did not.
Or see the movie?
No, I sure didn't.
Okay, well, the movie, whatever, the book was great. I mean, I was very impressed with that book long ago when I read it. sold at least 8 million copies, and the movie popped out in 1994, which is supposedly, back then anyway, the highest grossing R-rated film of all time. Maybe that's still there, but I don't know. I think R's and X's kind of change hands every now and then. Speaking of changing hands, look at the people who turned that role down. I mean, the main role. I didn't turn it down. Nobody asked. Rutger Hauer turned it down. Uh, I mean, I'm a big fan of his, but he may have been a little too upfront for that. I don't know. John Malkovich, I can see why, I don't know, but I can see him. Peter Weller. Besides, I've ever told you I had a cigar with Peter Weller in New Orleans long ago, and of course, New Orleans does tie in with uh, Anne Rice. My wife and I went up to her front door once, and I chickened out. That was a while. Anyway, Jeremy Irons, I think, turned it down. I think he would have been maybe the best of all, and maybe the best of all actors today, although maybe not as good as Jeremy Irons for that particular role. Daniel Day-Lewis turned it down. And Tom Hanks, he turned it down because he wanted to be in Forrest Gump. And Johnny Depp turned it down. So when Johnny Depp turned it down, Tom Cruise said, okay. And, there was some kind of a controversy between Anne Rice and Cruise, and she had to apologize when it turned out. Anyway, whatever. That's another problem for all those millionaires had on this. But, I mean, we do have some real talent involved with Anne Rice. Christian Slater took the role of the interviewer in the film. It was originally going to go to River Phoenix, who passed away in Johnny Depp's joint on Sunset Boulevard on the Strip. I forgot the name of the place, but so we have all these tie-ins. But just to lighten it up, this guy has a longer life than any vampire, even though he has passed away. Jan Murray in 1916 to 2006. That star of Texaco Star Theater, Gary Moore, Hollywood Squares, which was not a big thing for me. But Mel Brooks did this movie, History of the World, and Jan Murray was a vendor outside of the Cas Bar, someplace, yelling, or outside of one of the temples, yelling air for sale. So anyway, she can't get over that. And of course, the Chabad Telethon. For 18 years, he danced and sang. Did you ever see that, Sean?
No, no. What is that?
Oh, that's a crazy thing. I have to get you. You might want to look it up on the internet, Shabbat for Life, or whatever. I'll look it up and I'll let you know. You didn't have to be Jewish to think that was pretty funny. It was extremely funny. It was, and for people like me, it was maybe one of the more sacred parts of the year. But anyway, I'm yapping again too much. So on that note, let's take another break here on the Educated Retirement. And when we come back, we're going to get loaded at Musso and Frank's for a martini. And is your martini vodka or gin, Sean?
I'm not into martinis.
Okay, just drugs?
No, just beer.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? I'm kind of into beer myself, too. All right. See you in a minute. It's Jay Kaplan, the Educated Retirement, and we're running a little behind. Why? Because I talk too much. So we're going to go to Musso and Frank's next week, And since it's time sensitive, I will tell you that today is the day that Dick Tracy premiered in 1931. And ain't it funny now that everybody seems to be wearing Dick Tracy watches? So it was written by and drawn by Chester Gould. Today also is the day that the sculpting started on Mount Rushmore. And with that, I won't talk about me or give out my numbers because I've given them out too many times already. So let's just go straight to our guests, and we've got two of them. And it is Belinda. Well, let's start with Randy Clarito first because he is a repeat offender. And Belinda Calderon Nunberg, if I said it correctly, right, Belinda?
Yeah, that's correct.
The two work together, and I believe that Belinda is the CEO, which means Randy is, well, we won't say, but we'll let Randy say what he is. But I see stills of you. We're going to able to get walking, talking pictures of you? Sean? I guess Sean's working on it. So hopefully the people can see something better than just me moving my mouth. But at least there's some pictures of you. So I've got some good information. Belinda has got over 25 years of business experience, HR recruitment, senior healthcare services, and I think I'm one of them seniors, and founder and CEO of a number of successful companies, one of which is being represented by our guests here tonight. 1Heart, which here's product placement again. Remember, got to do product placement.
Nice cup.
Oh yeah, I wonder where I got that. So you know, you guys started when 2015 and just one location, and then exploded.
We actually started the business way back in 2001, and 2004 we changed it to 1Heart Caregiver Services.
Oh, so the name changed on. So I got a whole lot more here on your about you, but I think I'd rather you told us, or both of you told us about yourselves and each other, and then we'll get more into discussion. But first, go into how we can get a hold of you, who you are, and I'm the only one that has to say what I are because we can see you guys are human. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, hi. Randy's back. So I'd like to call you not the great J, but the great big heart, with a big heart, because I like your cup.
You could have stopped at big, but that's okay. I appreciate it.
Our CEO, Belina, is the founder of 1Heart Caregiver Services 2004, but you're right with 2015 because we started the franchising.
And we're going to be talking about franchising for a lot of different reasons.
Right.
And I'll just yap right now and say that I think this is important for two different things. For one thing, you know, when we're old people like me, I almost said a name that would have been cut off the air, but when you're aged like myself, I really think most of us need to keep on making money, okay, one way or the other. This might be right for you, it might not be right for you. The other thing is, and I think this is really important, the other thing is I really think that it keeps people healthier if they're working. Do you agree?
Agree?
Agree, yes.
Okay, well, go back to, I'll stop yapping and go back and tell us about yourselves a little more in the company, and then we'll move on.
Yeah, I'll pass it on to our CEO founder, Belina, now. So
Yes. I guess I'll have to tell you my story about how we founded 1Heart Caregiver Services. So Jay, actually my story is really no different from probably 80 to 90% of most immigrants who come to this country. You know, the United States is practically the land of opportunity, correct? So I came here back in 1991, and that was, you know, in my early 20s. Came in to visit the country and basically fell in love with the country, the way of life.
Wait a minute. You look like you're in your 20s right now.
No, I'm not. But that's a current picture, I tell you. So I decided to live and raise my family here. So worked hard for 13 years, was an employee for a cell phone company until I finally took that step into starting my own business. And that
Oh,
was
great.
yeah, that was in 2001, 18 years ago. I started an employment agency for office personnel professionals. A couple years later, I got so many requests for caregivers and nannies from my clients that I opened another agency. So that's this time this was only for in-home care, and that's how we started the 1Heart Caregiver Services Agency. Now that was 15, 16 years ago, and already I recognized the potential of the senior care market. So
Oh.
my motivation then was really the income potential of the market. However, things actually changed for me, when I met or our first client. Now, being Asian and a Filipino at that, I was raised knowing that it is my duty to take care of my parents when they grow old. Unfortunately, I was at the other side of the world because I moved here, living my own life, taking care of my own children and my family. And, sometime in 2004, my mom was actually diagnosed with cancer.
Oh.
So, she lived for another 5 years, but during this time, I wasn't really there for her. The distance was just something that, separated me from her. And the only thing I could do was actually, call her from time to time, visit her once a year. And when her health got worse, the more I felt guilty, about not being there. And I really couldn't do much because of my responsibilities here. The good thing about it is that back in the Philippines where she was staying, living, we were able to find a caregiver who actually took care of her. So this caregiver, for 5 years, she was like the daughter that I was not there, And, so as I've said, meeting our first client, she was a sweet old lady, 84 years old, in one of the facilities here in Santa Monica. Everything just fell into place for me. As I sat there, listening to her daughter tell me, what she needed done for her mom, I could sense that she I could feel the love and the concern that she had for her mom, but also her frustration for not being able to be there because she had her own family to take care of, work responsibilities to attend to, just like everyone else right now. So I kind of saw myself in her, and at the same time I saw my own mother in her mom. Here's a person who deserves to be shown love, respect in her old days, and someone who needed to take care of her. So it was then that I realized that this is the one way I can, give back to my mom the love and the care and the support that I wasn't able to give her when she needed me because I was not there, close to her.
Mm-hmm.
Needless to say, my mom continues to inspire me, and I see her in every
Okay. Wow. Good.
senior that we take care of nowadays.
Yeah.
So for me, it's very personal, and for all our team members and employees, this is our passion. To help families take care of their loved ones.
And I know that this time is going to go by faster than any of us think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like my life has, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I know there's a couple of great things we can talk about. Randy's been on before talking about the virtues of in-home care. So if we have time, we can get back to that, but that's really number one. But since we're talking about franchises, let's kind of concentrate a little bit on that. So why do you think that so many executives are actually exiting the job market to open a franchise? And if younger executives are finding this a better way to go, then I guess we can extend that to, say, retired people with the ability to do so. This should be on the top of their list also.
Right. Well, you know what? I have to tell you, I actually don't agree totally with that statement. I think that most people who have been employees all their life would rather stay employed, in a job because of the income security that they get, rather than go to business for themselves. Now, those people who are actually brave enough to take that step into doing their own boss and start their business, most of them would want to do it on their own. They want to start from scratch. And few people who exit the job market, like the executives you mentioned, the smarter ones would actually look into franchising, because the general idea is that it's expensive, there's franchise fees and royalty fees that will be paid, it's too restrictive, etc. So a lot of people don't go into franchising. But like I said, the smart ones, business-minded individuals would look into franchise businesses because they know and they realize that a franchise would already have a system in place that they just need to follow to be assured of success. They know that they will be in business for themselves, but never by themselves. And I'm sure Randy has some points to discuss about that also, especially the value of going into franchising compared to starting your own business.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know that even lending has franchises?
Yeah.
Just a thing. So anyway, go back, Randy. Sorry to throw that.
Yeah.
Don't mean to interrupt you, but it just
uh,
popped out because it's everywhere.
the biggest motivation for people who goes into a business on their own is to become their own boss. So the independence and franchising being one of the most successful and efficient marketing and distribution system in the world, as evidenced by McDonald's, for example.
Yeah.
The independence of small business ownership will be supported by benefits of a big business network. So we've been there for several years, and we have 5 franchises right now: Southern California and one in Las Vegas, Nevada. So we have Beverly Hills, Santa Monica, Santa Barbara, Thousand Oaks, and South Bay area. So they will be supported by a group of franchisees who have performed very well for the past year in 2018.
So you have support. It's not just going in, like, for instance, if you had a life, now you've retired, and you want to get into something maybe a little different than you were in before because it doesn't make sense to get back into that, doing a franchise, and specifically yours, you get a lot of support.
Yes.
And it's as if even if you're a one-man shop, when you first open the door, you've got a lot of synergy with a lot of other people doing the same thing.
Yes, your educated retirement audience and listeners will be able to get the brand of 1Heart, the operating system, and the ongoing support. So we have
a cup.
And a cup. All of these marketing giveaways will be able to be supported by our marketing department, which means that they don't need to put up their own marketing back office and not hire anymore some people. So we will have the ongoing support for as long as you carry the 1Heart name and brand. We are all in one in supporting growing 1Heart. This is what we're doing, promoting the 1Heart brand. So this is something that will be ongoing, and it's a 10-year contract and agreement, and it's renewable in the next another 5 more years. So because of the attractiveness of the industry, they will be able to have a sustainable business for the next 10 to 20 years, especially with all the support from all the departments, from recruitment, staffing, operations, marketing, and social media, and other sales, training, ongoing training.
So somebody like me that knows nothing about your business, even though all I need is care, and I have since I was born. I remember in the crib I needed care, and I still do. If I want to get on the other side of that, I could.
Yeah, we have a franchisee existing right now that doesn't have a healthcare background and no business background. So they're able to continue generating a good performance revenue last year.
So before we go any further, because I know it's going to be as soon as we blink our eyes a couple more times, it's going to be too late to give out your contact information. Now, you can always call me. You've got my number, everybody out there. But go ahead and give all of your contact information, phone numbers, website, everything.
We have our contact number, 818-906-4441. But you can also call and text me at 805-338-8100. We have 2 websites that they can visit, 1heartfranchise.com and 1heartcares.com.
Yeah,
And
that's
remember, if anybody needs care, which we all do at one time or another, you can use that also.
Sure.
And I think everybody needs care at one time or another. And I think the sooner you get care, the longer you're going to live. And the sooner you get care, the longer you're going to be able to live in your home. But that's just me yapping. So now we know why a franchise is a good way to go if you're going to open a business or be in business for yourself. We had another guy on, Ray Ramirez, who talked about how McDonald's, you had mentioned McDonald's earlier, but McDonald's is out to get senior citizens to go to work.
Yes.
I guess because they don't have to pay them very much. They're not going to take maternity leave. They don't have a college schedule to work around. But on the other hand, I guess that's one way to look at it. Maybe it's a great thing for McDonald's to do. I have kind of mixed emotions about all that. But if you want to go work, you can go work by owning your own business instead. Or if you want to do it little by little, you can probably get the right kind of training and go to work for someone at a 1Heart. But so, we know what you do, I think, pretty much. Or do you want to just give a brief outline of what you do?
As far as our work is concerned, basically what we do is when families realize that, their parents, their aging parents usually would need help, they would give us a call and they would ask for a caregiver to help out their mom or their dad, with activities of daily living. So it's not just, sometimes it's just companionship. They want somebody to be there to talk to their mom, or their mom or their dad lives alone. So they want somebody to be there before something happens. The risk of falling, it grows as you're older. So sometimes it's too late,
Yeah.
something
If you're built like me, you bounce right back up. But I mean, most people don't have those kind of built-in accoutrements.
happens.
But let me ask you a question. Does anybody, it's always seems like children call. How about people themselves? Do they ever kind of give you a call and say, I need some help?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes, we do get calls from people who need it themselves, and they call and inquire. Can you have somebody come in and help me out right away? Sometimes we get. Oh, by the way, not just people from the care recipients themselves, but also hospitals and other facilities who have skilled nursing facilities would call us before they discharge any of their patients. They would call us for help just to make sure.
To make sure that when people do go home, there's someone there when it's needed.
Yes. So
yeah.
So we all know that that America is an aging nation. So there's this wonderful opportunity in the senior care industry, actually, that I think most people who are business minded, want to go into business for themselves, should really look into this.
Yeah, I was going to ask a little more about 1Heart specifically, but the senior care industry in general has got to be booming. And if it's not, and no matter how booming it is, it's going to boom even more, right?
Correct. Yes.
I mean, so is the reverse mortgage industry booming. It's booming because of people getting older. I wish it were, and I think it's going to change, and more people are going to want it because they want it, not because they think they need it. And it should be the same with your industry too. Somebody shouldn't wait until they have already fallen down before calling you. I mean, that's just silly. They should have support that they need. But I think it's been said that the fastest growing group or age group in this country are the 100-year-olds, followed by the 85-year-olds. And I haven't even made it to the first leg yet of that. So given that, there has got to be an explosion. I mean, we are living longer than we thought we would be. And definitely we're living longer than the insurance industry has considered in the past. Long-term health care, regular insurance. None of this was Medicare. Quite frankly, none of this was set up for people living into their hundreds. And we need help. And we might as well be part of getting help and giving help. And if you can make some money at the same time and reward yourself, because there isn't just income, there's reward with doing this kind of work. Right?
Right.
Can I add some more about that? You're right when you mentioned that we're living longer, but a big number of statistics shows that seniors are living longer, but with health limitations.
Mm-hmm.
So meaning,
well, yeah, that goes without saying. That's pretty.
we are unable to perform the activities, the regular activities of daily living. Hence, they are supposed to be with somebody else, like a caregiver or a family member, to be with them, because most of them live by themselves.
Yeah, I used to be able to think about working out for an hour. Now I can only think about working out for 10 minutes. Of course, I don't do either one of those, but you know.
That's still good, Jay.
Oh, sure. Thank you.
Remember, we declared last time when we were there in your show that our healthcare industry is defective. It focused on illness. 1Heart, who our CEO, focused on wellness. So we have brain health wellness, we have fall prevention awareness program, we have neurobics brain exercises. So these are what we do to be able to promote wellness, longevity, and improve lifestyle.
Yeah, I'd like to get you out in the. We'll talk about getting you out in the field here. Either God, this year is almost over,
Sure.
and we can put on some talks and some shindigs where some people we can do some mind games and some memory kind of, without embarrassing anybody, because I would be the first to be embarrassed if it mattered. But games and things to test our memory so that people can go in there and do what they need to do.
All right. Sure.
So now that I guess we all know that this is probably the best business. I mean, let's face it, food and health, entertainment, you can't do any of it unless you stay alive and are healthy. This is the number one way to stay at home, the number one way to reach that 100 and whatever. And remember, reverse mortgages do have to be paid off when you reach 150. So what we want to do is get together and make sure that Congress has to move that beyond 150. So why do you think you're different from other companies in the field?
Well, for our franchisees, I would say we're different from the other franchisors or those big franchisors because we are not really after the numbers. We care about their success and not about the fees. We are after the quality of partnership that we have with our franchisees. We're very hands-on with trainings, and we provide to our franchisees because our goal is to make sure that they are successful in their business.
Mm-hmm.
We go beyond just being available via phone calls or emails and supporting our franchisees. In fact, Randy here just came back from Las Vegas.
All right, let's go.
To help our franchisees in an activity that he did in one of the facilities over there. And that's within a matter of 2 months. He had to go there. No charge to the franchisee, unlike other franchisors. Every time they send a field consultant or what over the number that they put in their franchise agreement, they would charge. We did not, because we just want to make sure that he's good. So Randy was there to help him.
Yesterday, I was the South Bay franchisee. Hermosa Beach, Palos Verdes. So I was there with them.
Yeah.
And I used to have like up to 4 different offices in Las Vegas. And what I found out about older people then, because I didn't consider myself older, a few years ago, most important thing to them was video poker. Is that still important in the senior world there?
Yeah, I guess.
I think
Randy doesn't play that, so we can't ask.
No, I didn't either, but it just seemed big time.
I can play the brain yoga with them. So
yeah. So go over again how someone can get started with your franchise. Also let people know how they can get started with your services, because The number one thing for happiness, which leads to health, which leads to longevity, is having a helping hand to make it through all of that. So
Yeah.
go ahead and give us your information again before we're all gone.
Yes.
I don't mean pass on. I mean the show's over.
Correct. So we wanted to have a good profile and pre-qualification of any franchise candidate. So we have our franchise applications, the first franchise step process. Second is to meet and greet with the executives of the company, me, our CEO, and our VP, Kevin Tagarao. So then we will be able to give us a third step process is the franchise disclosure document when it outlines 28 items about the franchise, the overview of the senior care industry management team. And then we will have a discovery day where they have to visit our office to be able to see all the department heads and get to be explained what we do by each department and how we can fully support them. And then we'll be able to have the contract signing if both of us will be able to agree that this is going to be a good business marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last step would be the 5-day business academy training that we'll be able to discuss and have a complete training of all the departments and all the important roles and the positions in the office. So they'll be able to operate it as the same way as any 1Heart office in different places. So it's a replication of the successes, the system, the process, and the methodology.
Yeah, and on our last minute here, I do want to point out that I think not only are people living longer, the other thing that's been changing is that, you know, maybe 15 years ago, Craigslist was a decent place for people to get caregivers. That, after all the horror stories have come out,
Yes.
that is no longer a viable option. And it's nothing anybody, you know, you want somebody, even if you have a neighbor or a good friend or family, those people probably are not trained the way your people are, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And with that, I guess it's over for today. So let me get rolling and thank you both, Belinda and Randy, and especially Sean, and that's our engineer, and everybody else out there. So Kaplan will be here on the same corner in front of the cigar store, which 1Heart doesn't support, next week. Have a good weekend.
You've been listening to the Educated Retirement Show with Jay Kaplan. Tune in every Friday